Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And as I often begin these podcasts, I want to invite you to check out our free basic course at michaelneill.org/basic course. And there you can watch a 12-session video program for free that over 25,000 people have gone through since we first put it up. And it is a proper introduction to the understanding at the heart of what I'm going to be talking about today and what I talk about pretty much every week in these episodes. And if you didn't recognize it, the title of this week's episode, it comes from a song from Willy Wonka. From now the classic, the Gene Wilder version, is probably the one you'll remember, but. For those of you newer to the party, I really loved Wonka, the Timothée Chalamet one as well. But the song is, I'm not going to sing it, but you can always type into YouTube. It's really good. But the lyric begins with, "Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination." And that's a way of understanding what I talk about on a regular basis when I talk about the power of thought as a principle. So a principle in this sense is something fundamental, something that's just true. It's a natural law of life. It's a non-negotiable with the universe. And the three principles that are at the heart of my work, the three non-negotiables, are mind, consciousness, and thought. And mind is the energy and intelligence of all things, whether in form or formless, or that's how it was originally articulated by the Scottish mystic Sid Banks. And without mind, there'd be nothing there from which to create and experience the world. Consciousness is like the screen of the mind. Without the screen, you can't view the movie. It's just light going through space. So consciousness is what allows us to experience our experience as if it's actually happening. Consciousness is the force that brings our thinking to life, and then thought is the content creator. Thought is the writer. Thought is the film strip that runs in front of the light of the camera, runs through the camera to be projected on the screen. It's the digital media. And another way of talking about the power of thought, and in a way, to my mind, a sort of a simpler and easier to understand way, is it's the principle of imagination. Because of consciousness, because consciousness brings our thinking to life and makes it appear real in the same way as though, even though it's a movie, when the monster jumps out or the kids think it would be a really smart idea to go down into the basement with a flashlight that they've not checked the batteries on to see what that noise was in the middle of the night on Halloween, we still react to it as if it's really happening. But we don't realize that the power of imagination is 100 times more realistic than the best made movie. So our world is literally a world of pure imagination. We are experiencing our imagination brought to life by consciousness, powered, animated by this deeper mind, by this deeper energy and intelligence that all of life is made of. Now, when I talk about it this way, sometimes people go, well, what about memory? I mean, I can see how my future is imagination, but the present's real, right? And what about the past? Well, let's talk about the present and the past, because I'll assume that you get that the future obviously is pure imagination. Even if you think it's based on a true story, it hasn't happened. So it can't exist anywhere other than imagination. But what about the past? Well, there was an interesting thing I learned when I used to teach neurolinguistic programming. And it was that memory and imagination share the same neurological circuitry. So in other words, whether you are remembering something or imagining something, within the brain, the same bits light up. Now, that is not 100% true, but it is largely true. So whether we want to come up with a third word for memory and imagination, which would be maybe thought, I'm going to stick with the description of imagination to include memory because, of course, we're not ever remembering exactly what happened. They know this. They know that we do not remember things as they happened. We inevitably distort and delete and generalize in remembering, putting back together what happened. So we're not actually in the feeling of what happened or the memory of what happened. We're in an imagined memory, a reimagined, a remembered, a reconstructed reality. What is our tool of construction? It's thought. It's imagination. Well, okay, I'll cede you the past. I give you the future. But what about now? Well, the reason that even now is made of imagination is because imagination is what makes everything. If you live in a world made of Play-Doh, you can't say that any bit of that world isn't made of Play-Doh. If you live in a world made of thought, any bit of it is made of thought. Not what you think is in the details of my opinions about things, literally created from pure imagination. And the cool thing about living in a world of pure imagination is how much freedom you have to change the dream, to reimagine life. And just to go back to the song, here's the chorus. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There's no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. And I invite you to explore the power of your imagination, not just to think about things, but to actually think things into being. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.